Hey there, Tackling players. This is going to be the collective OP1 battle report from Coolstuff Games. The fleet I decided to run for this event was a Weyoun and Varel combo fleet, utilizing it on an 80-point Borg Sphere 4270 with a couple tricks up its sleeve. I'm going to be utilizing the reinforcements sideboard to come up with any problems that crop up, using the Borg Queen to power assimilation if I need it, otherwise putting it and some of the other cards on my blind ship just to give it that extra boost of power. The blind ship I ended up pulling was the Maquis Raider, and so I loaded it with that in mind. Alright, in round one I'm going up against one of the fleets I fear, which is going to be a Borg running assimilation tubules. So I start the game off by facing sideways, trying to, just sidestep the enemy fleet, keep myself out of range for the 2 turns it's going to take me to build up my reinforcement sideboard. He's actually running the generic Intrepid class, so it's not going to be that hard to deal with. It's not the USS Voyager. It's not loaded down. His fleet is very bare bones, so if the cube gets anywhere near him, he's going to be kind of toasted. Here you can see, because of the large firing arcs of the Borg sphere and his unwillingness to go too close to the Borg cube token, he ended up facing the wrong direction and not getting a lot of shots off on me. With this, I could dance around with my Borg sphere at whatever range I wanted to. I left some of the things to get assimilated by the cube token if I needed it, just so I could get off some more shots. And it was overall a fairly easy battle. I worried about the assimilation tubules a little too much, I think, but the cube token did not assimilate those till later. I think that with just negating one attack with Varel would have been enough for this game, but as it was, we kept going until time was pretty much called, until in the very last round, with the cube token continuing to get between us and shoot at both our ships, which were running low on assimilating upgrades, that I finally ended up taking him out in the very last round. Alright, round two was a little bit of a different beast altogether. It was another Borg build, but it was not utilizing any way to take out the Weyoun and Varel combo. So what actually happened was my opponent decided to concede right out of the gate, and I used the opportunity to go take some pictures of some of the other matches that were going on. In the last match of the tournament, I ended up going up against the only other fleet in the tournament that was also running assimilation tubules, so that was kind of bad luck on my part, fighting the things I was weakest against. So I took the same cautious approach. Instead, when I saw that his ships were only meandering one forward here in the first couple turns, I decided to try some shenanigans. I put Mr. Spock on the Gavroche and the Borg Queen on the sphere so I could assimilate Mr. Spock onto the sphere, which gave me the ability to defend and attack at the same time. It took me a while to finally get Weyoun back onto the sphere, but when I finally did, his ships had been meandering forward and getting tracked down by the Borg cube token, which worked out pretty well in my favor. It assimilated his assimilation tubules and some of his other upgrades on his blind ship. It didn't get his assimilation tubules at first, so I still had to keep some distance, but going after his 2 blind ships, his 2 smaller ships, while his Borg sphere was stuck dancing around the corner of the board, not being able to get too close, I was able to whittle them down with some split fire and then a couple extra attacks from the Dorsal Weapons Array on my Gavroche. We did end up going to time though, so I ended up winning, but only by taking out his 2 smaller ships and not his sphere. Alright, so that's going to be it for OP1. I ended up in second place with 3 wins and 2 extra battle points. First place ended up with the same record, but beat me out by just like 5 fleet points. He was running a pretty standard flagship Picard cube build. Third place was actually an opponent who submitted to me in the second game. He was also running a Picard cube flagship build. Since I did have that extra time in the second game, I ended up taking a look around at some of the other fleets that were being played and thought I would share some of them with you. Alright, so here you can see the opponent I placed in the first round. He's going up against a 4 Federation ship build. There was originally 3 Federation ships, and he just managed to pull the Jaeger, so that was kind of cool. Picard on an Enterprise D, Varel on a Miranda, and just a little bit extra, and that was that. Here we have a 2 Klingon build that was utilizing the advanced weapon systems and some high-skill captains. It's going up against a fully decked out Dominion battlecruiser with flagship, Picard, and crew and talent out the wazoo, cloaking and interface generators even. Here in round 3, my round 3 opponent actually is facing off against another Borg sphere build. It was using a Borg sphere that was fully decked out with everything it could carry and just an elite attack die. Here we got a look at another Borg sphere list. I didn't end up going up against this one, but it looks like it's going to be fighting a Romulan list. Then over on the final table, there was just a pretty much smorgasbord of ships. This one was actually the Dreadnought Voyager that was utilizing McCoy, Klingon boarding party, and projected stasis field to try to take things out in one turn. And here we have the eventual winner's fleet. You can see he has the cube fully decked out, and there is a Romulan blind ship for him as well. He was going up against another 3-ship Federation build that didn't fare too well in the end. Alright, that is going to be the end of OP1. Things we learned from this event: don't be entirely too afraid of assimilation tubules if you are running the Weyoun and Varel combo. Using the Borg cube, it's really easy to stay outside of range 2, so that includes not only the assimilation tubules, but also projected stasis field shenanigans. And really, the big thing about this OP event is you have to go and kill your opponent. The extra battle points are what's going to do it for you, and playing defensively is only going to cost you the tournament, if not the individual matches. You need to think about the wider scale of things. Hope this replay has helped some of you guys and maybe given you guys some ideas. Until collective OP2 then, I wish you all good luck. May Q be generous with your dice.